An 11-year-old stepped into Judge Frank Caprio's courtroom and behaved as if he had accidentally wandered into a school recess rather than a legal proceeding. The moment he entered, he sighed loudly and whispered, "Can we go? This is boring." His mother gave a gentle tap on his shoulder, hoping he would settle down. But the boy barely noticed. Judge Caprio paused mid-docket and slowly lifted his eyes. "Young man," he said calmly, "I'm speaking to your mother." The boy barely reacted. Instead, he casually pulled out his phone and began scrolling, as though he were sitting in the back of a movie theater rather than standing before a city judge. Before we show what happened next, and what this moment turned into for both the mother and her son, tell us where you're watching from and subscribe to Order in the Court. Today's case carries a message every parent should hear. 2:30 p.m. on a Wednesday afternoon, Court Clerk Miss Bell called the case. Case number 20-25 PK, 1180 Ford, City of Providence versus Lisa Johnson. The charges included 3 unpaid parking tickets and an expired vehicle registration. Lisa Johnson stepped forward wearing her work scrubs under her jacket, proof she had likely rushed straight from her shift. She carried a folder packed with receipts, notices, and forms, the kind of folder every working parent keeps in hopes of fixing one more problem in an already demanding week. Her son Jaden followed closely behind her. 11 years old, fresh sneakers, trendy hoodie, and his attention fixed entirely on his phone. Miss Bell listed each citation clearly. Jaden didn't bother looking up from his phone. "I said my dad would have paid it already. He doesn't let stuff like this pile up." The disrespect entered the record before the fines ever did. Judge Caprio slowly set his pen down. "Young man, what's your name?" "Jaden." "Jaden, I'm speaking to your mother. You'll have a chance to speak when I ask you to." "Whatever." Lisa Johnson's voice tightened with embarrassment. "Jaden, please." Judge Caprio turned back to her, steady and patient. "Miss Johnson, tell me what happened." She drew a shaky breath. "Your Honor, I'm a CNA at Providence General. I work double shifts most weeks. My car failed inspection in July. The repair estimate was $800. I had to choose between fixing it and keeping up with the registration." Her voice cracked. "I chose wrong. You chose to keep working." Caprio corrected gently. "Yes, sir. I need the car to get to the hospital. The bus doesn't run early enough for my shift." "And the parking tickets?" "I parked on the street near the hospital. I didn't know those spots were metered after 6 p.m. I thought night parking was free." From behind his phone, Jaden muttered, "Because she never reads signs." The gallery stirred. Caprio's tone dropped to a warning rumble. "Jaden, you will not speak to your mother that way in this courtroom. Do you understand?" Jaden looked up only long enough to shrug. "I'm just saying what's true." "You're being disrespectful. That stops now." Jaden sank back into his phone. Caprio made a note, then returned to Lisa. "Miss Johnson, is Jaden's father involved?" Her posture stiffened. "Not financially, Your Honor. He's 6 months behind on child support, $800. "Does he have visitation?" Caprio asked. "Every other weekend when he shows up," Lisa said. Caprio leaned forward. "And when he does show up, what does he tell Jaden about you?" Lisa hesitated. "Your Honor, I don't want to." Jaden cut in without permission. "He says Mom only comes to court because she likes drama. He says she could afford stuff if she managed money better." A murmur rippled through the gallery, because someone at home was parenting with cash, not character. Caprio turned his gaze onto Jaden. "And you believe him?" "He's not wrong," Jaden said, shrugging. "Mom's always broke. Dad buys me stuff. New shoes, this phone, my PlayStation. He takes care of me." Caprio's tone didn't change. "Does he pay your mother child support?" "He says he doesn't have to. Says Mom can't make him." Caprio began writing. Slow, deliberate strokes. His face unreadable, then BRRT. Jaden's phone buzzed loud enough to echo off the wood paneling. Jaden glanced down. "That's Dad. I gotta take this." "You will not answer that phone," Caprio snapped. But Jaden swiped anyway. "Yeah, Dad. We're in court. Mom's acting like she can't afford tickets again." Jaden hang up. Lisa whispered, Reaching for the phone, Caprio's voice cut through everything. "End that call and hand the phone to Officer Rodriguez." Jaden pulled the phone away from his mother. "You can't take my phone. Dad said judges can't take private property. He said he'll sue you." "Officer Rodriguez, collect the device." The bailiff stepped forward, steady and calm. Jaden jerked away. Holding the phone behind his back, Lisa whispered, "Jaden, please don't do this." "Dad said I don't have to listen to." Rodriguez didn't grab, didn't force. He simply waited. Caprio's voice dropped to that quiet, dangerous register that meant the world was about to shift. "Jaden, you have two choices. You will hand Officer Rodriguez the phone, or you will be removed from this courtroom, and your mother will continue without you. Which one do you prefer?" For the first time, Jaden actually looked around: the bailiff, his mother, the judge. Then he surrendered the phone. Rodriguez powered it off and set it on the clerk's table. Caprio watched the boy for a long moment. 0.5 seconds, 0.7, 0.10, 0.12. That's how long it took for an 11-year-old to understand that this was not his father's weekend. "Jaden," Caprio said, folding his hands. "Sit in the gallery. Do not speak unless I ask you a question. Do you understand?" Jaden's voice was suddenly small. "Yes." "What was that?" Caprio pressed. "Yes, Your Honor." "Go." Jaden walked to the back row, head down, staring at his own hands as he Saturday. Caprio turned to Lisa, his tone softening. "Miss Johnson, I apologize. You came here to address citations, not to be humiliated by your child." Lisa wiped her cheeks. "Your Honor, he's been like this since his father started." "I know," Caprio said gently, "and we will address it. But first, let's talk about you." He opened the file, scanning dates, amounts, and the ticketing officer's notes. "Officer Kelly is here today. Officer, please approach." A uniformed officer in his mid-40s stepped forward, calm, professional. "Officer Kelly," Caprio said, "you issued all 3 citations to Miss Johnson's vehicle. Do you recall the circumstances?" "Yes, Your Honor. The vehicle was parked legally each time. No hydrants, no crosswalks. But the meters had expired. The first 2 were downtown near the hospital. The third was on Hope Street near a pharmacy." Judge Caprio continued the hearing with calm precision. "Did you observe the driver on any of these occasions?" he asked. Officer Kelly shook his head. "No, Your Honor. I only saw the vehicle. No one was inside at the time." "And did the vehicle appear abandoned or neglected in any way?" "No, sir," the officer replied. "It was in good condition. Clean exterior, valid inspection sticker. Well, valid at least at that time. Nothing about the car suggested it was left sitting or ignored." Caprio nodded slowly, the picture becoming clear. "So what we have here is a working mother parking near her workplace and losing track of a meter. That's all." "It appears so, Your Honor," the officer confirmed. "Thank you, officer. You may step back." The judge turned to face Lisa again, his expression softening. "Miss Johnson, you came here. You didn't hide from these tickets. You didn't blame anyone. You spoke honestly, and that carries weight in this courtroom." Lisa nodded, clutching her paperwork. "Thank you, Your Honor. Your total fines come to $570. He paused. "I'm reducing that amount to $50, and you'll have 90 days to pay it." Lisa's breath caught. Her voice quivered. "Your Honor, thank you." Caprio shook his head gently. "I will not penalize a working parent for choosing rent and food over paperwork deadlines. You spend your days helping people in crisis at that hospital. The least this city can do is give you the breathing room you don't get anywhere else." Tears formed in Lisa's eyes. "Thank you, truly." But Caprio wasn't finished. "Now," he said, turning slightly, "I will address your son." A quiet ripple passed through the room. "Jaden," the judge called. "Stand up and approach the podium." The boy rose, moving slowly, unsure of what waited for him. He came to stand beside his mother, shoulders tight, gaze drifting downward. Caprio leaned in, his posture firm, but not harsh. "Jaden, do you understand why you're standing in this courtroom today?" The boy shrugged. "Because Mom got tickets." "No," Caprio replied, his voice steady. "You're here because your mother is fighting every day to hold things together, and your behavior today made that job even harder." Jaden's eyes sank to the floor. "You act like an 11-year-old when it's time to follow rules," the judge continued. "But you talk like an adult when it's time to criticize. You can't switch between the two whenever it benefits you." The courtroom fell silent. "Your father," Caprio said, "is 6 months behind on child support. That's $4,800 your mother needs for food, clothing, rent, and transportation. Yet he buys you sneakers, electronics, and gaming consoles. And do you know what that is, Jaden?" The boy shook his head. "That is performance. He is performing generosity, while your mother is carrying the actual responsibilities. She is working. She is sacrificing. And you haven't learned the difference yet." Jaden's lip trembled, the message landing. "Your mother," Caprio continued, "is the one who wakes up early, who drives you where you need to go, who works long shifts so you have a home to return to. And yet you told a room full of strangers that she's broke, as if she is somehow failing you." I didn't mean it," Jaden whispered. "You did," Caprio said. "You meant it because someone taught you to think that way. And that lesson ends today." He picked up a form from the bench. "Jaden Johnson, you are ordered to complete 30 hours of community service at the Providence Senior Day Center. You will report every Saturday at 9 in the morning and work until noon. That is 10 consecutive weeks. You will sign in, sign out, and submit a completion record to this court. That is 10 consecutive weeks. You will sign in, sign out, and submit a completion record to this court." Jaden's eyes widened in shock. But I have basketball games." Caprio didn't flinch. "Then you'll learn to respect the person who makes those basketball games possible. This is not punishment for your family's challenges. This is correction for disrespect. You spoke to your mother as if she didn't matter, and now you will spend 10 weeks helping people who rely entirely on others." Lisa stepped forward slightly, voice soft. "Your Honor, he's only 11. Caprio nodded respectfully. "Miss Johnson, that is exactly why this matters. At 11, he is already comfortable diminishing the person who raises him. If this isn't addressed now, then at 21 he will repeat the same patterns he's witnessing at home, and I will not let him walk that path." He turned to Jaden, his tone firm but measured. Jaden continued, voice steady but honest. "She's not the problem," he said. "She's the one doing everything. And I didn't see it. I learned that helping people feels good, and that I was acting like—" He hesitated. "Like someone I don't want to be." Lisa looked at him, proud and tearful. Judge Caprio nodded once, deeply. "And what about the seniors at the day center? What'd they teach you?" Jaden smiled for the first time that day. "They taught me patience and respect, and that some people would give anything to have a mom who shows up for them the way mine does." The courtroom stirred. Caprio leaned back, satisfied. "Miss Johnson," he said, turning to her, "your son has done exactly what this court hoped he would do, and more." Lisa blinked away tears. "I'm proud of him, Your Honor." "You should be," Caprio replied. "This young man has worked every Saturday for 10 weeks. He didn't complain. He didn't quit. And he didn't hide behind excuses." He turned to Jaden again. "You earned something more valuable than a phone or sneakers, Jaden. You earned character. And you earned a reset." Jaden nodded. "As of today," Caprio continued, "your community service is complete. Your record is clear. And your mother decides when you get your phone back, not me." Lisa reached into her purse. She didn't hand the phone to Jaden. She held it in her hand, thinking. Jaden looked at her genuinely. "Mom, I'm good without it for now. I want to keep helping at the center on Saturdays, if that's okay." Lisa covered her mouth, overwhelmed. Judge Caprio smiled slow, warm, proud. "Well," he said, "I suppose that settles it." He closed the file. "This court finds that accountability produced growth, and discipline produced understanding. Jaden Johnson, you are no longer the boy who walked in here 11 weeks ago, and your mother is no longer carrying that burden alone." Jaden straightened, standing taller than before. "Thank you, Your Honor." Judge Caprio lifted his gavel. Case closed. And Jaden, the boy looked up. Keep becoming the young man your mother deserves. The gavel came down. The audience exhaled that a mother smiled that a boy grew up, and the courtroom learned. Sometimes the smallest offended brings the biggest change. She's the one paying the bills that dad's gifts don't pay fines. They don't pay rent. They don't pay for anything real. Jaden took a breath. And I learned something else, he said. The people at the senior center, they don't care what shoes you're wearing. They care if you show up, if you help, if you're kind. He looked down. My mom, she's been showing up my whole life, and I treated her like she wasn't enough, but she is. She's everything. Judge Caprio nodded and turned to the mother. Miss Johnson, has his behavior improved at home? Lisa smiled softly. Yes, Your Honor, he's different. He helps with his little sister. He does homework without being asked. And he never brings up his father's gifts anymore. Caprio turned back to Jaden. What happens the next time your father buys you something and talks badly about your mother? Jaden's answer came without hesitation. I'll thank him for the gift. Then I'll tell him my mom gives me what I need, not just what I want. Caprio leaned back. Good answer. Stamp. Community service fulfilled, Jaden Johnson. You are released from court supervision. Your mother may return your phone if she believes you've earned it. Thank you, Your Honor. Caprio raised a finger point. One more thing, the senior center called me. They'd like you to volunteer this summer. Paid position. 15 hours a week. Interested? Jaden looked at his mom. She nodded. Yes, Your Honor. Then it's yours. Caprio looked at both of them. You came and broken that you're leaving hold. That's what this courtroom is for. The gavel fell. That afternoon, Judge Caprio wrote in his journal. An 11-year-old insulted his mother in open court. I gave him 10 Saturdays to learn what she's worth. He came back a different child. Below it, he added, respect isn't age-restricted. Neither is accountability. A knock on his door. Miss Bell handed him an envelope. Inside, note from Lisa Johnson. Your Honor, thank you for seeing what I couldn't. Jaden is a different kid, that I'm a different mom, that we're learning together. Attached was a photo. Jaden and Lisa at the senior center, smiling, wearing volunteer badges. Caprio pinned it to his board, next to all the families he'd helped prepare. Because courtrooms aren't just for punishment, they're for reconstruction. 2 months later, Jaden walked into the senior center. No shift, just a visit at MR. Leon saw him. Here to lose at chess again? Maybe. Jaden grinned. They played. Halfway through, Jaden asked, did you ever disrespect your mom when you were a kid? Leon chuckled. Once my father made me apologize in front of the whole neighborhood. Never did it again. Respect isn't optional, kid. Especially for the people who love you most. Jaden nodded, moved his rook. Checkmate. How do you always win? Leon smiled. Because I've been losing longer than you've been alive. Later, Lisa picked Jaden up. How was your visit? Good. Mr. Leon beat me again. They drove quietly. Then Jaden spoke. Mom, I'm sorry. Not just for court. For everything. You already apologized, honey. I know. But I needed you to hear it again. Lisa pulled over. Jaden, you didn't just apologize. You changed. That's bigger than words. They hugged. Lisa handed him his phone. You earned it back. Jaden looked at it, then placed it in his backpack. I don't really need it right now. You sure? Yeah, I'm good. And in Judge Caprio's office, the photo of Jaden and Lisa stayed pinned to the board. A reminder that respect isn't taught in one hearing, that it's rebuilt one Saturday at a time. Dramatization for storytelling and education. Not legal advice.